Hey everyone, my name is Aidan O'Connor. I'm a Senior Solutions Engineer at Port. Today I want to talk to you about API management powered by Port. A few things I'm going to show today. Gaining visibility by visiting a catalog of existing APIs, different versions of those APIs that are available to you, and then cloud resources to which your APIs are deployed. And the next thing I'm going to show is offering self-service experiences for developers. Couple things here, basic examples, creating a new API from a template. You don't have to point developers to a documentation page to learn how to do this. You just give them a click of a button and they can go and work on the API itself. Providing a rating for an API, and what we get out of this is inspiring elevation of API quality. Developers are able to share their thoughts, and then the owners of the APIs are able to go improve based on those. And then finally, deploying to an API gateway at the click of a button should be very easy for developers. We want them developing APIs, not worrying about cloud resources. So if you have any further questions, feel free to reach out about this. We do have this great blog post here, written this year in January, about managing your APIs using an IDP. Great resource here. So the first thing we'll do is up here in the catalog, we're going to take a look at the API versions that are available. So as you can see, I've integrated this with GitLab. I've got all the source code for my APIs brought in. The benefit as a developer you get from this is knowing what APIs are available to ensure endpoints, APIs are not duplicated. Make sure that we're only building new things, not kind of rebuilding things that have already been built. You get more information from these. You can click into any one of these APIs, get the documentation, see if there have been any self-service runs. Clearly, this one was created based on a self-service action. We could see some scorecards, making sure that we're driving standards. And then also in related entities. So you could see that this is actually a deployed API to an API gateway. So developers are able to go get a lot more information about the APIs they've been asked to work with, and also be able to filter this view based on things that only they work on. The next thing I want to take a look at is API versions. So as a developer, you're not always using the maybe the production version of an API. You might be using a different version. So here you're able to see what versions are available. And of course, this is the authentication API. We are able to see that upstream, this is the API we just saw on the previous page. So what developers get out of this is not only what APIs are available, but also the individual documentation for those different APIs, which also by exposing that here drives quality, making sure that people are actually updating that additional documentation so that other developers can use it and use it easily. The next thing, as a developer, I want to know which cloud resources serve my APIs. So over here, we've got a few basic examples, an API gateway and a database. You're able to see those here. We can add a filter for which team owns different APIs. We probably should go and inherit the permissions for these API cloud resources, but all sorts of things you could do here with cloud resources. And then as an engineering leader, I want to drive API quality initiatives and understand my full API landscape. So here we're able to see the breakdown of internal versus external APIs. I'm also able to see a gap in the quality of my APIs. I have one that hasn't been updated as being internal or external, so I need to go talk to that team leader and make sure that this is done. If I'd like to create a new API, I can add a self-service action card here. Then I can also drive initiatives. I could say, we've got this new API here. It doesn't have a team identified. So as an engineering leader, I can point my team towards this and say, please go update this with who owns this team. And I could say this is a mission critical API. It's part of that team. And then now it disappears. There's no more data. We've got 100% ownership of all of our APIs. Next thing I want to talk about is self-service. So what we want to provide developers here is the ability to do things at the click of a button to get them back on the golden path of actually going and developing these APIs. So creating a new API, we've got that here. Again, to standard from the beginning, you can add as many fields as you'd like here or as few. So we could say example test API. We can select the protocol. If we want to, we can even go and add who owns this from the beginning. When I execute this, it's going to go into some automation in the back end to GitLab pipeline, and then it's going to populate that here in our catalog once it's ready. Providing a rating. So again, developers being able to give their thoughts on what they think about these APIs that they don't own. So I could say the notifications API, I'm going to give it 4 stars. I could add a comment section in here. I go and execute that, and then that's aggregated in the API catalog. And then next up, deploying to an API gateway. This might be a pain for developers. Obviously, they're focused on making sure that these APIs are of high quality. When you ask them to go and interact with Terraform or directly with cloud resources in the UI, it might be difficult for them and it takes them off that golden path. So here, we want to provide a very easy way for them to go execute this. So I'm going to select a new API, decide which gateway to deploy it to, and it's going to go run in the background and do that for the developers. So again, they can get back on the golden path. Thanks for listening. Please reach out if you have any questions. Happy to help.